How's it going, YouTube? Mike's back again. That's a really shitty way to start this, speaking in third person. I understand if you tune out right now. Today I'm going to teach you about ISO in my little mini series that I'm calling How This Thing Works series. As I said in my previous two videos, I realized I overused the word series for this series, and now I can't stop saying series. As I said, I'm going to I'm going to teach you about ISO today. And in these little videos, I'm breaking them down into 4 parts. And the first part being, what is it? Now, ISO is probably the easiest one to learn. In my mind, it's almost like a in case of emergency break glass kind of thing. Because ISO is essentially your sensor sensitivity to light. Part 2 that I have these videos in is how does it work? How does ISO work? You'll notice on if you find where your ISO is on your camera, if you're bumping up the number, your image will get brighter. I feel like once again, I kind of have this problem with shutter speed, where the 4 parts sort of blend together because I feel like they're pretty straightforward in terms of once you explain them, they're pretty straightforward to what they are and how they work and everything. So part 3 is what does that mean? So what's happening is when you're at ISO 100, that's like the lowest most cameras have, or a lot of cameras. So when you're at 100, that is sort of your natural image. Your sensors has no sort of assistance. Once you go up to like the 200, 400, 600, once you increase that ISO, your image gets brighter and brighter because it's affecting the sensitivity of the sensor itself. So the light hitting it is kind of having more of an effect on the sensor. So basically, how do you use it is part 4 of this, or like the layman's terms. So it's sort of like I said, to me it's like in case of emergency sort of thing, where if you can't quite get the exposure you want using shutter speed and aperture, which I've explained in the other 2 videos, but my next video after this one is going to be explaining how the 3 of them sort of come together and all work in unison, and how to use them and how to balance them out and everything else. So I'm going to go over that next video, but ISO is if you can't get the exposure you want using shutter speed or aperture, then use ISO to boost your exposure a little bit. Now, as with everything that's in photography, there is always a drawback. The thing you have to watch out for with ISO is that if you pump your ISO up too high, then you're going to get a really noisy image. And depending on what you're taking a picture of, that noise can actually make your picture look low resolution because the noise is everywhere. You'll see it's all kinds of discoloration because what's happening is that your sensor is actually getting overheated and it starts just developing all this noise. So when you bump it up, it's like the sensitivity, yes, is much higher, but because of that, the sensor is much hotter, thus creating noise and all kinds of nonsense. And some cameras too have built in like noise reduction things. That's why I try to use it as my last resort. It's not something you should necessarily be scared of. I think right now, so like for instance, I'm shooting this video at ISO 400. It doesn't look like it, at least to me, it doesn't look bad or anything. It's not something to be afraid of. And you'll notice it in your pictures once you kind of take them and start editing them. And if you're just trying to get like family pictures or something like that, something you're not really going to do anything for, I wouldn't really even worry about it. But if you're doing, if you get hired for a wedding, be aware of the noise, or at least be aware of a way to get rid of it afterward. Hello. Oh my God, Jesus! I'm going to teach everyone about cameras. You licked my phone! You're such a meatball sub. Oh, good you're here too. This turned into a dog party. You're gonna remain a mystery, okay? I'm never gonna show you on camera. All they'll ever know of you is your nose. Okay, they just saw your face. There's a mysterious white dog off camera, but now they do. They've seen your face. You just had to be in the shot, huh? So I think that's gonna wrap it up for ISO. As I said, it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty easy one to grasp and use. And then the next part, or the next video that you're gonna see in my mini series, what is this thing? I don't even remember what it's called. How This Thing Works series, will be using all 3 of them in a practical sense, because essentially everything in photography is just a balancing act. So see you next time. I hope this helped you out. As I said, I've already put out 2 videos so far. The first one being on aperture. The second video released, which was the previous week's, is shutter speed. If you need any information on those, I have those 2 videos. I'll see you next week for our big 3 combination and relationship advice. I think it's become clear that I haven't thought of a name for that video yet, so I'll see you next time. Hopefully the fact that I'm bad at this doesn't, scare everyone away.